Hi everybody, I'm 2 miles outside Selkirk today. Selkirk's in that direction there. I'm stood right now on the Philip Hoch estate, and the main Philip Hoch house is up round there. Now, I've come today to film this. It's a Covenanters memorial cairn. Now there are quite a few Covenanters memorials around the country. The only one I can think of off the top of my head though is, apart from this unit, is the one in Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh. This one's placed here though, after the Covenanters won the Battle of Philip Hoch in 1645. I'll take a walk around it, and then I'll come round and I'll read that plaque out for yous. Now, in the Covenanters came about in 1638 after King Charles agreed with the Pope to banish Scottish religion and to try and force the Scots to practice the religion of the Pope and himself. When he did that, there were thousands of Scots signed a paper called the National Covenant, and they swore by their lives they wouldn't give up their beliefs or their ways of practicing religion. The first civil war with the Covenanters came about the following year, and there was to be many wars and many battles over the years. Many battles won by the Covenanters. It eventually became a three-way war. The English and Charles decided to put the same rules and logics onto the Irish as well. So the Covenanters sent an army over Ireland to help them to fight and beat the English, which they did, along with their own battles here in Scotland. The stone was erected by Sir John Murray Bart to the memory of the Covenanters who fought and gained the Battle of Philip Hoch on the 13th September in 1645. I'm guessing, but I assume that's come off the top there. Maybe no though. Maybe no. This one's sat here like this. That one might have been sat over there in that corner. I don't know. I don't know. No, I can't remember off the top of my head the exact dates. I know there was 3 civil wars with the English over the years because of the religion. might have the year wrong again, but I believe it was in 1688 that King James VII made the final decision to reverse the laws made by Charles, so that the Scots could carry on with practicing their Presbyterianism. If you were a Covenanter though, during the years when it was illegal, you'd be punished if you were caught. Now, for them to practice their own religion, they had to stop going into churches, and they had to come up to places like this. Now this place wouldn't have been looking like this back then. There wouldn't have been a tennis court there, and there probably wasn't a field there. And this possibly was one of the places where they would come out and practice their religion in secret. Because if they were caught, the punishments would be so severe that there'd be, you know, the things they had to have done to them was they had to be marked. And the markings had to be visible. Quite often, they would have their ears cut off, and quite often they'd be killed. And there's cases known around the country where they were drowned, and they'd be dipped in the sea, for instance, or a river, and the English trying to force them to give up their own religion, try and make them swear they wouldn't practice it, denounce it, and that they would start to practice the English way. Now, for them that were lucky enough not to be punished like that, they would be sent abroad as slaves, basically. Places like Jamaica, to work on the sugar canes for a sentence of maybe 10, 12, 20 years. And if they're lucky enough to survive that, they get to come home again. If you look back through my earlier videos, I filmed a plaque of what used to be the home of a Covenanter up in Douglas, and his punishment was, after having had his ears chopped off, that he was sent out as a slave for, I think it was 12 years he got, and he was lucky enough to be able to make it home again. I said earlier, I think it was James the 7th that basically done away with the laws, making the practice of Presbyterianism illegal, and it's still practiced not only here, but I suppose you could say around the world. I know it's certainly practiced in America. Here in Scotland though, there are a wee side shoot that call themselves the Covenanters. Anyway, if you look online, you'll find a much more detailed history of the Covenanter Wars than I've given. You can find all the battle listings and all sorts. Just a brief short wee video. I hope it hasn't bored you. I don't know, maybe it sparked a wee interest. Go and take a wee dive down the rabbit hole. Have a wee research for yourself. Anyway, I thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks now.